Hi guys, welcome to www.highschoolmaths.co.uk. Today we're going to be looking at how to round to any given number of decimal places. So we're going to start off just looking at 1 and 2 decimal places, and you can kind of extend that into any number of decimal places that you would want to, although 1 and 2 are typically the most common. So we're going to look at a few examples on 1 decimal place. So what it means when you get a question that asks you to round to 1 decimal place, it's basically telling you that your final answer should have one number after the decimal point, and you've got to decide, I'm going to round up or down. So that's the kind of key idea behind rounding to decimal places. Now, the kind of cut-off for rounding up, if it's 5 or higher for the rounding number, you're going to round up. 4 or lower, we're going to round down. Okay, so we'll have a look at a few examples on that. So 3.56, if we start off with the first one, would round to, and what we're going to do is, we know we want one number after the decimal point, so we're going to cut off after the 5. We're going to look at the number after that cut off, after that line we've drawn, and that's a 6. So anything 5 or higher at that point would tell us to round up, so we're going to round up. Now to round up, we have to add one on to the number before. We have to think about what comes after 3.5. So if we add one on to the tenths column, tenths column, that would go up to 3.6. And essentially what we're saying there is this number is closer to 3.6 than it is 3.5. Okay, next one, same idea, cut off after the first decimal place. So we get 2.8. And now we've got to decide, are we going to round that? Is it going to be 2.8 or is it going to round up to 2.9? In this case, we've got a 4 after the line, after a cut-off point. So that means round down. Okay, and for rounding down, we are making the number smaller, but we're not taking away one. We're just keeping it as 2.8. Okay, so we're saying it's actually closer to 2.8 than 2.9. Okay, think of that as money. It's probably used to kind of visualise. If you've got £2.84, it's closer to £2.80 than it is £2.90. But here we're not writing 2 decimal places, we're just going for the 2.8. Okay, 0.152, so this time we've got 3 decimal places in the question. We're still going to cut off at the same point. We're going to cut off after that first decimal place, which is what we're looking for. And it's a 5 directly after the line. Okay, the 2 actually doesn't have any impact on what we're doing here. So it's the 5 that we're looking at. 5 tells us we round up, so that's going to go to 0.2. Okay, and we're saying we're closer to 0.2 than we are 0.1 here. Okay, same idea all the rest of the way down. So cut off at the first decimal place, so 6.35. Again, it's a 5 after the line. We're going to round up, so it's going to go to 6.4. Next one, 4.96. Again, cut off at the correct place. Again, it's a 6 after line, so that's a rounding up. Now we've got to think what comes after 4.9, because we can't, if we add one onto the 9, it's going to take us to 10. We can't have that. So we want to actually think about the whole number here. 4.9, what would come after that if you're talking about 1 decimal place and adding a tenth on? It would be go up to 5.0. Okay, and we're looking for 1 decimal place, so we're not just round that exactly to 5, we're rounding it to 5.0. That shows that we've done a little bit of rounding to get to that answer. Okay, next one, 29.99, same idea here, just cut off after the first decimal place, so that's where I've drawn the line there, and it's a 9 afterwards, so again rounding up. So rounding up, we've got to think what comes after 29.9, that would be 30.0. If we add another tenth on, or 1 onto the tenths column. Okay, so we can extend that, and we can extend it for 2, 3, 4 decimal places, whatever. Most commonly, you're probably going to deal with 1, 2 or 3 decimal places, so we'll do 1 and 2 here. So for 2 decimal places, we're going to put the cut-off point after the second decimal place. So there's a decimal point here. We're going to move 1, 2 and put the cut-off line. Okay, so this is the only difference here. It works the exact same. Your cut-off is 5 for rounding up, 5 or above, you round up, 4 or below, you round down. So 5.567. The 7 tells us that we're going to round up, so it's going to go to 5.57 in this instance here. Next one, cut off after the second decimal place, so it's going to go to, and it's a 1 afterwards, after the line, after the cut-off point, it's a 1, so it's going to go down to 11.3, just 11.37. Okay, and again, when you're rounding down, you're not taking away one, you're just keeping the number before the line the same. Okay, the whole number is going down, that's why we call it rounding down, but we're not taking away one. Okay, you only change the number before the line when you're rounding up. Again, same thing here, cut off point, and it's a 5 after the line, so it's going to go up to 0.16. Now we can go through the rest of these in a very similar way. 2 decimal places, 9 after the line, so it's going to round up to 10.36. Okay, so just fly through the rest of these. This one here, 4.695. Again, 5 tells us to round up, so we're going to round that up to 4.70. And the last one, again, is going to round up. So we're looking at the 5 after the line. That's 9.995. Tells us to round up. So after 9.99, we're going to go up. If we add 1 on to the hundredths column this time, it's actually going to go up to 10.00. Okay, so that's the next step after 9.99. And again, that's think about money, £9.99. Your next step, if you add a penny onto that, which would be 100th of a pound, then that's taking you to the 10.00 or £10. Okay, 2 decimal places is really common in money because money is something you deal with in real life that is you're always used to dealing with to 2 decimal places. So it's one of the most common ones, and being able to round to 2 decimal places is really, really useful for that. So you'll probably see it come up in those kinds of questions. So that's how you round to decimal places. You can extend that into 3 decimal places and so on just by using the same method. Quite a straightforward idea. Just remember, 4 or lower, you round down, 5 or higher, you round up, and that's really all there is to it. So hopefully you found that video helpful, and if you want to try some questions, then just remember and go and visit www.highschoolmaths.co.uk, and there's more videos there you can check out as well. And if you liked the video, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, and remember and share the video. And thanks for watching, and you make sure you have a mathemagical day.